I am your host, Fat Dag, and you're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Twitter at Wise Advice. Send in your comments, your questions, and your celebrations, and I'll include them as part of the show. Before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points! And I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together, because I believe in you. Well, hello there. I want to open the show, episode 39 of Wise Advice. I want to just check in, and one of the things I got in my inbox that I thought was kind of interesting was, as we work this journey, we know that most of what we do here is in our head. I've said it more than once that it's not about the food. You can overeat on healthy food. So if you have the right things, if you have something that's 5 or 6 points and you love it and you eat it all day long, you're going to overeat. And even though it's a 5-point meal, you still have the ability to overeat it. So it goes back to, most of this journey is in our head. It's not entirely about the food. So it brought me to an email that came in the other day that, as someone said, I won't call her out, because I didn't ask her if I could, but if you follow along on Connect, you'll see it. But the difference between discipline and devotion. Now, I'm a firm believer that it takes discipline to get this job done. I'm a firm believer that self-discipline is when it's going to get you to stop eating points when you're out of points. Now, I understand the discipline term has a negative connotation. I understand that, to some people, discipline means punishment. And I don't frame discipline in a punishment mode. I frame discipline in a mode where discipline means I'm focused. Means I have the ability to stop when I need to stop. And I understand devotion. Devotion has more of a loving connotation, and I want to take care of myself, and I'm devoted to this. And so I understand that if your journey, if you hear the word discipline and it causes you to not react appropriately, then your head switch it to devotion. And same thing, if devotion doesn't quite do it to you, then stick with the word discipline. But there's all kinds of words for the things. Don't get hung up on a single word about whether or not you can follow the program or not. And so it was a great conversation. We had a great exchange through email about the differences between the two terms, and it's just total upbringing on the two of us how we disagree. But I'll leave it with this. I am absolutely devoted to a healthy lifestyle. I'm devoted to my loving family, and I'm devoted to want to get this plan done. And all of that only happens because I'm disciplined to do it. So there we go. I'll work both of them in there. Hey, thanks for listening. If you're out there, we're in iTunes. Go to iTunes, search for Fat Dag, search for Wise Advice in iTunes. We're also in Stitcher Radio, Google Play, SoundCloud, wherever you get your feed. You can find that, and I really appreciate you listening. Go to fatdag.com, click on subscribe to the email, and you'll be one of the first to know when the app gets released. We're going to release a mobile app specifically for the podcast, so it makes it a lot easier for folks to find. I get a ton of email of people asking, how do I find the podcast? And I'm just going to go ahead and get an app developed. Hopefully it'll be out in the next couple of weeks, but you'll see that through email. So fatdag.com, click on email subscription, and I'll push that out there so you'll know exactly when it is. So first and foremost, I want to open the show with Christine. Christine writes in out of Huntington Beach, California. She says, I reached 16 weeks and lost 26.2 pounds. This is at least the 6th time I've tried Weight Watchers. In the past, I've been very successful losing, but not getting to goal or lifetime. This time, it just feels different. I look forward to standing on the scale with the maintaining, not losing mindset. I often refer to what you said in my Saturday morning meeting. My leader, Lisa, and staff are wonderful and I want to make them proud. I listen to your podcast every night on the way home. Thank you. I've applied as Weight Watchers receptionist. I've not heard back yet, but I'm hoping one day to be a leader to keep myself even more accountable. I also weigh every single day. I prepare all food on Sundays and pre-track on Monday through Friday, keeping myself even more accountable. Keep my pre-track Monday through Friday, breakfast, snack, lunch, and dinner. I keep a 10-point snack for dinner. It makes not getting off the plan much easier. Also, since starting again on January 7th, 2017, I have a blue dot every single day. That also has been a great idea from Weight Watchers. Thank you again, and congratulations on Lifetime. So, Christine, thank you. Absolutely, 26.2 pounds is phenomenal. You don't get 26.2 pounds down on accident. You have to have that discipline, that focus, and that dedication, and you did it. If you can lose 26.2 pounds, you can lose 27 pounds. If you can lose 27 pounds, you can lose 30. If you lose 30, you can lose 35. Depending on where you are in your journey, you can reach goal. So the fact that you reached 26 pounds means that you've done it, and it's very cool to see that you applied to be a Weight Watcher leader. I think my journey was very similar. That's how I applied to be a leader, was I thought that I wanted that second level of accountability. Well, I got to be upfront with you and honest. Being a leader doesn't provide that level of accountability. It's a whole different mindset. It's a whole different game. You still have to stay mindful to it, but I didn't find the accountability piece as a leader. In fact, I actually find it harder to stay on track as a leader because of all the other things I have to do. I don't have as much time to focus on me and my journey. So I will never give up being a leader because I enjoy interacting with folks. I enjoy being in that meeting room and seeing you succeed and seeing other people succeed, and that's where I get my motivation. So very honored to have you join us on the team. If that works out for you, that would be really cool. Sounds like our journeys are very similar. So keep up the great work, and we will get it done. So thanks for the email, Christine. Appreciate that. Next up, Grace writes in out of Sacramento, California, celebrating her 10% down. She says, I hit my 10% down last week. I just worked the plan. Planned, weighed, measured, tracked, and ate. I drank my water. I exercised when I could. I slept when I could because of my babies. Connect and your podcast are my game changers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Great, Grace, thank you for the email, and so we just talked about a second ago, down 10%. What does 10% mean? So folks out there, if you're listening, which you are obviously, but if you're listening and you're either hit your 10% or you're close to your 10% or wherever you are in your journey, I want you to recognize that these milestones mean something. 10% is an amazing accomplishment. And so if you hit 10%, what that means is you've worked the program, you understand how the program works, you've followed the program long enough to have success, you've hit a milestone in the program. So the difference between hitting your 10% goal and hitting your lifetime goal is just a matter of time. That's all it is. If you've hit your 10%, you have the ability to hit goal. You've encountered many of the snares you're going to encounter in life to get to that 10%. So it's just a matter of staying with it, staying focused, staying with the plan, and you can get it done. So Grace, congratulations on your 10%. That's a huge deal. I'm super proud of you. And I can't wait till you write in and you step on that scale for the very last time in a weight loss mode. When you step on the scale knowing that you're in lifetime and you're maintaining your weight, it's a completely different feeling, and you've proven today that you have the ability to get there. So we'll see you there. Next up, Paul writes in. Paul says, hello, Fat Dag. Just wanted to write in and say thanks for doing this podcast. I love listening to podcasts while I cook, do dishes, or all on the subway. My name is Paul from Hoboken, New Jersey. I'm 27 years old. My journey with Weight Watchers started a long time ago. I have struggled with weight my entire life, and I started doing Weight Watcher meetings when I was just 8 years old. Nothing ever really helped, as I wasn't always trying to lose weight for myself, but for the others. That's a story for another day. When I graduated college, I was over 260 pounds, and I knew it was time for a change. I was uncomfortable in everything I wore, and I lacked the confidence I needed to succeed. I joined Weight Watchers the summer after graduation, had a great run, eventually getting down to 201. At 201, I got stuck. I was weighing myself at home and gained 3 weeks in a row. I was embarrassed that I was gaining, and I stopped going to meetings and eventually quit Weight Watchers. I maintained that loss for a while, but slowly, steadily started to put the weight back on. Fast forward to 3 years, this Christmas Eve, I woke up and I got on the scale and I saw 230, and I immediately, without hesitation, put on my clothes and walked into a Weight Watcher meeting in Hoboken. It felt good to be back. I'm getting married in July, and I promised myself that I would not let my weight interfere with the happiness of that day. I've made a pledge to make a meeting every week for a year. I've made it to 18 meetings in a row. This week, I hit my 10% goal for a total of 23 pounds. I've had some gains and some staying in the same weeks, but I've lost that weight, and I'm now at 206 pounds, back within striking distance of under 200. Believe it or not, the old Paul would have been upset about taking it 18 weeks to lose 23 pounds, but this time I've accepted the journey, and I know that if I keep doing what I'm doing, I will get to a healthy weight. My goal is to be in the 190s before my wedding in July, and I'm hopeful that I will hit that goal nice and early to be able to set another reasonable and obtainable goal. All of my thin clothes are starting to fit again, and I'm feeling great. This time feels different, and I can tell it has clicked. I think Connect has been a huge factor. I hope whoever thought of Connect got paid the big bucks. Sorry for the long-winded email. Just wanted to share my story. You are an inspiration, and I enjoy all of your posts. I'll be sure to keep you updated as the progress continues. Paul. Paul, man, that's an incredible story. And so as we dig into it, 8 years old, that's got to be an eye-opener, And so, fortunately, I didn't have that experience, but I wasn't far behind you. And so to know your entire life that you're overweight and to know your entire life to struggle with it, when you get to the point now at 27, man, you have the entire life ahead of you. And so what I'm really proud of in your emails, I read through it a couple different things, is you're a fighter, Paul, man. You have the ability to fight. So you creeped up to 260 at one point, back down to 230, and then as you or back under 200, when you got back to 230, you recognized that. So you said you don't want to be 260 again. And you immediately went into a Weight Watchers meeting. And so I know the feeling of going to those meetings. It's not fun, but it's necessary. And the fact that you've been 18 meetings in a row is exactly what I did to get it done. It's an attendance process. There's going to be weeks that you gain. There's going to be weeks that you maintain. But the weeks that you continue to do those things are the weeks that you're winning. It's the weeks that you quit going is the weeks that you admit failure and defeat. So I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. And I know your goal. You're going to knock these out of the park. 190 is within striking distance. You have the ability to get there. What I just said earlier, if you heard it, is if you hit your 10% goal, you have the ability to hit goal. 10% means you've set a target. You've been focused. You've been disciplined. You've gotten it done, and it's all within striking distance. It's just a matter of time for you, Paul. So great work on all your goals here. I loved your email. It resonated in a lot of ways with us, and I think one of the important things is you had that fail-safe method. Is when you got to that point where you recognized you no longer wanted to be where you were, you instantly pulled out all the stops and you went after it. That's what we got to do. So congratulations for doing it. I'm really proud of you. Keep up the great work, and let me know when you reach your goal. I can't wait till that email comes in when you say you stepped on the scale for the very last time in a weight loss mode. So thank you for writing in. Folks, what are you celebrating? Let's share it on the air. Go to fatdag.com, click on podcast, send in your celebrations, your comments, and your questions, and I'll work them all into the show. Go to Twitter at Wise Advice. Get a vote there. Tell me what word you think best makes sense, whether it's discipline or devotion. I got a poll out there for you to kind of answer. That's at Wise Advice on Twitter. And if you prefer, you can call into the show, leave a voicemail. I'll work that in as well. Be clear and concise. Leave your username and go ahead and call 317-662-4214. If you get a chance, hit me up on iTunes. Give me a review. I'd love to hear your thoughts there. But that's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You've got to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. I wish you good focus.